Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. So I wanted to talk about Thai vehicles today and what are the aircraft that we should expect in the future if of course the Japanese Tech 3 receives a sub 3 as for Thailand or other Asian countries. Okay guys, some vehicles that could be added if Thailand is actually not just a squadron vehicle, basically, right? So there are many options, and of course I'm gonna talk about more jets over here because the objective of the channel is more jets than props. But of course there are many props like Spitfires and other aircraft, you know, the F-8F and the Helldiver and many others that could be added. But the problem is that I don't think the Japanese Tech 3 actually need more prop aircraft. It needs more jets. You know, the jets are the ones that I think Japan never had too many like variants or models of aircraft. They had a pretty good air force, but not in the sense that they had many models. You know, it was always kind of limited on that sense, on that regard. Same goes for tanks, right? In the Cold War and onwards, right? So yeah, we are flying out a little bit with the F5E for Thailand, from Thailand, which is a very fun aircraft. And yeah, you should see more aircraft like these coming. So let's start. Well, the first one would be an aircraft that I think it was just added and it would make a lot of sense. The Alpha Jet, of course. The Alpha Jet was used by the Thai Air Force back in the day, you know, and I think it's still being used. Actually, I'm gonna check, but I'm pretty sure it is still being used, and it's an aircraft that, I mean, it's already in the game, you know, so it would be very easy to introduce that aircraft. It is going to be, of course, the Alpha Jet A, bought from Germany. So yeah, it's basically the same aircraft that we have in the German Tech 3. Nothing too crazy to talk about. But of course, as a 8.7 aircraft or something like that, it could be a very interesting option because they don't have a lot of aircraft in those BRs. Then we jump for more of a top tier kind of line of thinking over here. The F-16A Block 20 MLU. So that's the thing. I was actually going to talk about the ADF as well, but the Japanese already have the F-16AJ. So yeah, we could see the ADF, but to be honest, it wouldn't make a lot of difference because we already have the Block 10, right? But of course, if they add for all the ADFs the Fox 3 missiles that they could actually take, then maybe, yes, the ADF could be added. But to be honest, why not just add the Block 20 MLU, right? You would have a slightly better radar, a better cockpit, and just a overall slightly better aircraft, right, in some regards, so compared to the ADF, especially in the air-to-ground role. So and it can also take MO-20s, etc., right? So it's an aircraft that is, of course, already in the Chinese Tech 3, so having it in the Japanese Tech 3 wouldn't do too much. Of course, it's still kind of a copy-paste, but to be honest, Japan is the one that most deserves this type of copy-paste, to be honest, in the game, right? Italy was one already needing a lot of things, and they just got the Hungarian sub 3, so I think Japan needs to be the focus now. And even if he gets a little bit of copy paste, it would make a lot of sense. Of course, it could even come after the Block 10 AJ that we have in the game, before the Mitsubishi F2 or something like that, and it could take MO-20s, as I said, so it could be future proof on that regard. Then another aircraft that was just added, the Gripen C. Yes, the Thai Air Force uses the Gripen C variant. Not a lot of numbers, but still. So another nation that could actually take the Gripen C. Is it needed? I don't know. You tell me. But it is an option out there. It would be basically the same aircraft as you see in the Hungarian sub 3 and in the South African version as well. So able to carry Fox 3 missiles, etc., air-to-ground, the same Gripen that we already know and love. Another one would be the L-39. They used to use the L-39Z ART, which is basically a trainer. Very similar to something like the Alpha Jet, so it could be in an 8.7, 9.0, depending on what it took. It had like this version specifically compared to the Czechoslovakian one and Soviet one and etc. Would be just, it has some different avionics and stuff from Elbit, if I'm not mistaken. Or Airbit, is it? How is it called? Elbit, yeah, sorry, Elbit. So yeah, it could be a little bit different, but very much the same version that we should see coming in other tech trees. Then we have two aircraft that would be pretty much a copy paste, but it could be interesting as well. We have the F-84G, which is already in other tech trees. Nothing to talk about it here. Normal F-84, could be in the lower ranks of jets over here. So yeah, it would be very cool because they don't have a lot of things there as well. So yeah, it would help a lot. And in the highest ranks, like higher ranks, but not really that high, like 10 point something, we could have an F-5A as well, very similar to the one in the American tech tree, right? In the sense of the event vehicle, right? So it's not really that different, but still another F5 that can come. Of course, here it could come as a tech tree vehicle, helping out in the 10 point something BR, helping it out to actually be a connection between the older, like late 40s jets and early 50s to the F4s and stuff or something like that, right? And then another aircraft that could be a unique one, the Dragonfly, which is the A-37. It is an aircraft made by Cessna, if I'm not mistaken. It is pretty interesting, nothing too crazy. It is pretty slow and it's not really like competitive on the side of air combat, but in the air-to-ground it could be interesting. It could take some gun pods and rockets and stuff that could be useful in the ground battles and maybe even useful in the air battles. But again, it's not really a performance aircraft. It would be around what, 7.0, something along those lines of a BR, but it is a unique vehicle and I would love to see it instead of the F-84, but still, it is something that could be added. And these are the ones that I think should be added. Of course, they used as well the F-86F, if I'm not mistaken, is the F-35. But of course, the Japanese already have the F-40, so no really, and the F-30, so no really a need for that. And of course, the ADF that I talked about, they also used an F-16 Block 15 ADF, OCU, same ADF that we would see in other tech trees. But the thing is that we already have the Block 10 there, so not really needed, because that Block 10 already has the Sparrows, right? But it could be, I mean, it's basically the same as the ADF in the game, right? But turning a little bit more, so it doesn't really make sense to add the ADF. But the MLU and others, yeah, could be a thing. And these are the options that I think should be added. Definitely. Make sure to subscribe. Let me know in the comments what aircraft would you like to see in Japanese tech tree. And bye, guys.